All right, and we are live on the Bright Girls in Business podcast for another Monday. We have a new guest today, as always, and I am always so excited to introduce my guests because I think that they're the bomb. I wouldn't have them on the show if I didn't think that they were. But we have Miss Fatesta Bateman today, and she and I share a story of us being ambassadors for a local tech startup entrepreneur community. And that's how we met about 7 years ago. It's crazy to say that it was that long ago that we've known each other and have kind of been in each other's orbit. Um, and Fatista has a very unique story to share about being a woman in a male dominated industry. And so, welcome, Fatista. I don't want to tell your whole story, but welcome to to the podcast. Thank you
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here today. And we haven't really talked in so long. And yeah, we were ambassadors. And I remember we would see each other a lot more often than now, and we talked to a lot together.
I know we gotta do better with that because I feel like we were all really tight, and we had this group and that cohort, and then all of a sudden it was like I see certain people or I talk to certain people, and then some people it's like I don't even know where they went.
I know, yeah, and same with me. I get to talk to a few people here and there, but you and I are going to have to stay in touch. So
absolutely. Like I said, we're always in each other's orbit or in each other's space. I watch you.
Yeah.
I see you out here and I'm like, oh man, I need to connect. And so you're like one of 2 or 3 people that I always keep an eye on. So so thanks for committing to be here today. So what I want to talk about first of all really is that is how you connected with the DEC, which is that's the organization that we were a part of, the Dallas Entrepreneur Center. Mm-hmm. And what you were doing 7 years ago that kind of led our paths to cross, because I'm still kind of doing the same thing a little bit, but you pivoted in there. So
yeah.
What were you doing then?
So at the time of the DEC, I owned a venue called the Spa Bar. And I remember obviously it was, the DEC just has a lot to do with being an entrepreneur and finding your path as an entrepreneur. I had a venue called the Spa Bar in which I was hosting events in a small, intimate space. And I wanted to find a place that I could meet other people who had who shared some of the same ideas, who maybe have been going through some of the same challenges as me. And the DEC just kind of welcomed me in, and I ended up just going to some of the meetings. What was that? The cup, the million.
Oh yeah, 1 million cup.
Yeah, the million cup. And I started to volunteer there and just go there a lot because I was listening to different people's pitches. And then it became like a community, like a really intimate community. And I saw that they were looking for ambassadors, and I kind of just like fill out an application. I got selected and I was like, oh, this is great. So I got to meet great people like yourself and just really understand what was going on in the startup community. Being able to connect to some of the people out there that are doing some really great things in the startup community. And it really opened my eyes to a lot of things. And I was very thankful for that opportunity. And again, like I said, I met some really great people along the way.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like, because I think then I was maybe about 1.5 to 2 years into my entrepreneur journey. Mm-hmm. And being a part of that community really helped me to expand my vision for my business and like connect with people that I never would have been able to connect with who had amazing ideas. Yeah. It was just a really good time. It was like I said, we had a cohort, and I don't know, it might have been about 14 to 15 of us maybe. In the group, and we were the first group that they ever had do this. And so we were out at these networking events, and like you said, 1 million cup, which was the morning coffee networking pitch event. And I remember doing an event, it was at sundown at Grenada. But it was some
The theater.
It was like this big event, like this big thing. And I think at the end of it, somebody won like a $50,000 grant for their business or something. But whatever it was, it just really solidified my place in the entrepreneurial community. And so meeting you, and like I said, watching you along the way and then watching you shift, I'm like, okay, she's a real entrepreneur at heart. Like I always felt like you had it. Like some people have it and some people want it. Okay, like some people just have it. It's who they are. And I always felt like, okay, she is a real live entrepreneur. You were always on your stuff. You always like, you just carried yourself like you knew what you were doing. So
thank you.
Yeah. So okay, so you had the spa bar, and you were doing the venue and all of the other stuff. What made you stop?
So a lot of things were going on at the time. I was really at a point to where I felt like I wanted to be doing more. Like I didn't know what. I just knew that I was wanting to be doing more things in the community for myself. It wasn't necessarily a passion. It was just something that I wanted to do. Like it's kind of like from scratch. I had an idea. I wanted to see how far it could go. It picked up really quickly. It was a really successful business, and I enjoyed every moment of it. I met so many great people, but I just knew there was something more for me to do. So it just came at the right time. Everything kind of happened at the right time. And I ended up really doing a pivot. Now, I've always been a serial entrepreneur. I've always done something. I've had a drug testing company. I've had a business. I've had a gift basket company. You name it, I've done it. I've had a t-shirt business. So I always start to do something, and then I kind of get this little itch, and it's like, but what if I could be doing this? What if I could be doing this? And just my mind kind of just takes me, and the journey kind of just takes me to somewhere else. But where I am now is in construction. And I've always been interested in construction. It's just been something deep inside, but it's kind of like you just never know. It was never the right time. I was always doing something else. My love for real estate also kind of sparks the construction part of it. And I just really didn't know where I wanted to be. I've been, a landlord. I've been a real estate investor for over 12 years. So I've done some things that had to do with maybe getting some houses, flipping some houses, being a landlord, that type of thing. But I never really got into the grunt of it until probably about 4 years ago. And I became an insurance adjuster. So I was out in the field a lot, all the time in the field, on top of roofs, going across the world, or across the nation, I should say, helping hurricane victims, flood victims with their claims. And because I was always on the outside, I was always on the roof, I was always meeting contractors and talking to contractors, but I found that there were no contractors and really no field adjusters that looked like me. There were no women in the field, and there were especially no Black women in the field. So I found something that was just like, it lit a fire underneath me. I was like, I'm free up here on the roof. I feel great. I feel wonderful. And I knew it was it. I knew it was it. So talking with some of the contractors, I felt like I knew more, even though a lot of them, or most of them, were men. And I just felt like I knew.
We always know more.
Exactly. We know more.
We always know more.
But as I was having these conversations, I think that I got it solidified the fact that, hey, you can do this. This is where you should be. This is your place in this industry. And it kind of just led to another, one thing led to another. And I decided to start my roofing company. It's something that I've always wanted to do as well. And it just all made sense. And I kind of said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is where I'm going to go. And I just went for it. So it's been a great experience so far. And I'm happy that I was able to pivot, if you will, into something that I really am passionate about.
I love what you said. A couple things that I absolutely love. First of all, you shared your journey of how you've tried different things. And I think so many times people are afraid to try stuff. They're afraid to, get into something new, or fail forward and figure out, hey, this really ain't for me. This is not my thing. Or just, do multiple things. I think sometimes people get stuck on one thing for so long, and then it's like, okay, this thing is not becoming fruitful for you. Like, what's
Yeah.
next?
Yeah.
But the fact that you made so many pivots, and gave yourself a chance. Like I said, I knew you were an entrepreneur. You just had that spirit. Um,
I've
you
always been
do.
doing something. It's you know what, I feel like being an entrepreneur is a spirit. I really
Yeah.
feel like it's something that drives you. I think you know or you don't know if it's something you want to do in life. I've always loved making money. I've always loved business. I've always loved talking about business, being present. I love anything regarding, business transactions,
Mhm.
where the market is going. I mean, just anything regarding business, I love it. And I don't know, I think I was probably like 10 years old. It's when I started my first babysitting job. I liked the idea of making money. I knew it was something that I wanted to do and I wanted to do well, and it
Mhm.
just started at a very young age for me. And I just felt good about it. I always knew I just wanted to do something great. I didn't know in what capacity it would be in. And I really feel like everything that I have done has been a success. Now, I've had some challenging moments throughout all of my entrepreneurial journey, but for the most part, I've always felt successful because it's doing something that you love to do, doing
Yeah.
something that you are courageous enough to do, and it really does take a lot of courage to be able to switch to different things and to
It
learn
does.
about different things. And um, you know, kind of back in the day when you talk to people that were in careers, it had to do with the length of, how
Yeah.
long the tenure part of it. So if you were at a company for 25 and 30 years, that was just, that was the greatest thing on earth. And so talking sometimes with people who may not see things the way I see them, can be a little difficult because they are, oh, you're doing this now? Oh, what about this? And what about this?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what about
Yeah.
this? But, it's just how I've been all of my life. And I've enjoyed every part of it.
It's funny because when people always talk about their entrepreneur journey, they always go back to like childhood. Like, I was selling candy, or I was,
Yeah.
mowing lawns or whatever. And I like, it took me so long. I'm like, was I ever doing anything as a kid? Like, I feel like I was just a kid jumping rope or something.
Yeah, all my
But
friends always
like,
talk about me. Yeah.
yeah, like I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I won't say that I was an entrepreneur, like always out hustling,
Yeah.
but I always did like money, and I always liked business systems. So one thing
Yeah.
I can say, like, my mother tells a story all the time of how I used to have my grandmother at like the Radio Shack in the office supply store getting me like calculators with tape, and
Yeah.
like, and I had like a planner and like staplers and stuff. Like, why are you a kid that wants
Oh my
staplers and
God.
different, like that was
Yes.
just my thing.
Yes.
And
I
like
always
writing.
wanted cash registers. I always wanted
Oh my God, I love
cash
cash
registers.
registers as a kid. Yes, I would be at like service merchandise, like,
Yes,
oh,
buttons and
like,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, it was a thing. It was a thing for
Yeah.
me. And so that's where I would say I picked up and noticed, like, yeah, you did kind of always like business things, or
Yeah.
things around business. I may not have always been selling stuff. Now I did like wash some cars and stuff like that,
Yeah.
back in the day, clean people's cars out and stuff, like as a teenager and stuff, and whatever. But I was never the babysitter. I'm
Oh,
still
yeah.
not the babysitter. Like, people,
Yeah, I'm not anymore. I mean,
let
that's
the
how I
kids do.
started out. And I loved it. I loved it at the time because I made money and I was just excited to know that at the end of the week I was going to be collecting some money. So that was like an eye opener, life changing type of thing. And I enjoyed it from that time on.
See, so you took so many chances, like as a business owner. I did a lot of pivoting in my career to figure out what I like. So I kind of played it safe a little bit.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, like my parents, they've always, worked as long as I've known them clearly. But since teenagers, like my mom, I think her first job, she was like 13 or 14. My dad, he literally worked at the same company for like 47 years or something like
Yeah.
that. That's
Yeah.
unheard of.
Yeah.
So to come from that kind of background and then jump into this, which is
Yeah.
totally unknown, is,
Yes.
to them, it's like, what the,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what are you
Yeah.
doing? So for you, did you kind of take a step that was, I don't want to say easy, because I don't think any entrepreneurial step is easy, but that was a little bit more comfortable for you until you like gain confidence in yourself to now do this completely different thing?
Well, I kind of dived into the construction role because I felt really comfortable. I felt really comfortable on the outside. I felt like, hey, I'm in the elements. I love it. I felt really comfortable about the skill set that I had obtained, and just being out there, understanding what was happening on the roofs. I had my company is a roofing company, so because I learned so many things while being out in the field, it just became, and I was a natural. Like, I got up on the roofs, no matter how high, 2 stories steep, and it felt good. It felt right. So for me, I think it was something that I needed to be doing like a long time ago, but it's just that I got to where I'm like, oh, this is it. This is it. This is what I want to do. But just learning so much about it, learning the industry, well, trying to understand some of the things that are needed to be done, and things that I need to do to be, a better business, to grow my business, to reach out, that type of thing. So there are things that, of course, there's challenges like anything else, but I feel like I've been doing it forever. I don't know if that
Mm.
makes sense, but it feels just right. Like, this is what I was supposed to be doing. So that
Wow.
part makes me happy.
I love that. I love that. So is your whole crew women, or is it men and women?
Yeah.
So the name of the business is Pink Hammers. And I love that. Like when I
Thank
saw
you.
you come out with that, I was like, oh my God, what is this? Um, so I absolutely love it, love it, love it. And I've been referring you to so many people that are like, I need
Thank you
somebody. I'm
so
like,
much.
go to Pink Hammers.
Thank you so much.
So, like, tell me about your crew and all that other stuff. Are
So,
you actually doing work? Are you like,
am I? So, okay. So most of the time, so my crew are made up mostly of men.
okay.
Unfortunately, I'm hoping to change that. The challenges that I've had, I'll tell you a little bit about the challenges, is because, only 10% of women are in construction. 10%, only 10% of women make up this industry.
Yeah.
And I know what was more of an eye opener to me is that when I think about women in construction, I'm thinking, hey, we're on the roof, we're, up there, doing the work, actually doing the labor, that type of thing. But most of the women in construction are doing like admin jobs. So you may have construction managers or administrative managers, construction supervisors that may be women, but there's very few that are actually doing the roles of, the labor part of it in most cases. So I've had challenge, of course, finding women in construction or women crews, because obviously not everybody enjoys getting up on the roof as I do. So it is somewhat challenging, but I'm hoping to, bring more women into this role, and not necessarily getting on the roof, because it really doesn't matter if you're on the roof or if you're in behind a desk or whatever. But as long as you look like me, you're a woman. And I think that's the most important thing. And then I think the fear, and then you also get the fact that it is a male dominated industry. A lot of women sometimes kind of have fear, right? You don't know if you're going to be welcomed, if you're going to be embraced. And those are some of the challenges that we face. And I'm hoping to make it to where a lot of us can ease into some of the roles. Some of us can be happy and confident that we can do the same job and, better or as but as the men are doing. And it's just really about having conversations like this, having these conversations, hiring women that look like us, that are good in what they do, or good at what they do, and support, right? Having the support and supporting each other where we are in our journey. And that's the main thing. It's just getting that support, um, and the confidence, of course, to be able to take on some of the responsibilities and the accountability to do the roles that are here in construction.
Yeah. I think it's crazy. Like now we're in 2021, but not so long ago, even like the 70s and 80s, like women just weren't like we didn't have the door,
Yeah.
right? It wasn't accessible to us. And like being a nurse or a teacher or stuff like that. It's like, oh, that's what women do. And really, if you go back even 2 decades beyond the 70s and the 80s, women weren't really even in the workforce.
Correct.
So it's almost like we're charting a new path. And I know that a lot of us that are in certain industries, just period, in the workforce, we make less than men.
Yep.
And I'm sure being in a male dominated industry like construction, like you said, the welcome, is it there? Are you questioning my expertise because I don't look like you? Or, do you think that I'm not strong? Things like that, I can totally see being issues with women, mentally coming into the workplace. How do you suggest to overcome some of that, or to roll out the pink carpet to some women to?
I believe in diving in. That's what I did. And I've always been a rebel in some cases. I've always just kind of gone against the grain. And I believe in me. I don't let anybody tell me what I can and can't do. Believe me, there's been many, many men who I've had to shut down in this industry, because you do get those men with egos. You get and not only just men, some women have a hard time with just talking to you. Customers sometimes have a hard time talking to me because they don't always think, women customers don't always think that I know what I'm talking about. They'd much rather get it from a man or hear it from a man in order to make it believable, or to make that it's true, So it's not just the men that give us a hard time, or give me a hard time in some cases. It's also women, because it's hard for some women to believe that I'm going to get up on that roof and I'm going to be able to, find out what's going on to their roof and provide a solution and get the work done. But I just think that it's a thing that you have to do it yourself. You have to be confident. I think confidence goes a long ways. I think you have to have courage to say, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, I'm strong enough to be in these roles. And again, we're not just talking about laborers. We're talking about engineers, like women that are engineers. We construction managers. There's several roles that are inside with construction that women do every day in other companies and other industries. And a lot of those roles carry over to construction. But we constantly think that it's, a man's face that we see or we need to see. So for me, I think it's just, hey, going against the grain, doing the things that you love, doing what you want to do, and just showing people that you can make decisions just as well as men can, and do well and be successful in this industry.
Absolutely. I think a lot of times when we have been boxed out of places, and like you said, it just baffles me that women would question you. But I guess, anyway, sometimes we have our own biases and, our own blocks. And so I was talking to a lady earlier, and she's in the auto industry, and I was talking to her. She's an auto dealer, so she teaches people how to launch an auto dealership. And we were talking about that too, just about what it looks like to show up and because she was telling me about like things that I need to know when I go to an auto dealer, and how men approach you there differently, and things that they expect that you don't know, and how they might try to bamboozle you or whatever the case.
Right.
And I totally could see that happening in any construction field, because I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
you don't see that woman showing up. It's like, who are you? Where did you
Yeah.
come from? And that's sad, but hopefully we'll be able to change that. So
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think too, we have to be mentors. We have to be mentors. We have to be better mentors. My first mentor was a man. And I love him. I still call him. We talk about things that I just am having problems with, or things that I need to get, like pick a brain with or whatever. But he he was the first person that told me, um, don't go to a door. Like, if you're gonna door knock and you're gonna go talk to the customers, it can't be a woman. It can't be you. It'll have to be a man. And I was kind of like, oh, and it's the old, a woman should be, seen and not heard type of thing. I was really disappointed in that, because I didn't expect it from him, because we had a really good relationship until I talked to him about, hey, I'm going to do some marketing. I'm going to go out and put these door hangers and knock on these doors and talk to them. And he was like, oh no, you can't do that. That has to be a man that does that.
oh wow.
And I was like, are you serious? But yeah, he was serious, because he doesn't feel like it's a woman's job or role to be in a position to where you can go out and talk to people and about this particular industry. So it's very real. I mean, I still talk to him. I don't have any ill feelings, but it's just a reality.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just a reality.
That's crazy. And because when you say that, like, I know another lady, her and her husband have a roofing company, and she goes out and door knocks all the time. Like, that's how they drum up business. And so that never occurred to me. Like, because if you're coming to my door, I'm probably not thinking you're going to be the person on my roof. That's just
Right,
I think.
right.
It's just crazy, the biases that we have, and how we like try to box people into certain spaces and things like that. So
Yeah.
how would you suggest, like, there might be a little girl out here, like I was the girl that loved cars as a kid.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
I had, you know, matchbox cars and stuff like that. Like, I was not the braid up your hair, play with dolls and Barbie dolls. Like, I hated Barbie dolls. Like, I used to go to my cousin's house and she wanted to play Barbie dolls. I'm like, girl, no.
Yeah.
Like, you
No.
want to put together this train set though? Like, that was me, because I like, working with my hands and stuff. But if there's a girl like that, that isn't on that traditional path, how would you, I guess, coach her, or like you said, mentor her into this space? Like, is there any particular classes she needs to take? Is there any particular anything? I don't know.
So there are some great organizations out there. One is the National Association of Women in Construction. There's also, and that's NAWIC, there's also NABWIC, National Association of Black Women in Construction. And there's several different organizations out there that embrace women in construction. There's different, we have socials, there's networking opportunities. And I say, first, just do your research, find something that you love, find an area that interests you, find somebody in your community that is doing that thing, and then reach out. Reach out. Hopefully it's a woman, of course, but as a woman, you don't always get to find another woman. It may have to be a man. Like I said, my mentor started off being a man, and I learned a lot. And then from there, I just branched out and started to learn more from other women who look like me, or who look like me. And so I would say, just find a mentor, connect with some organizations, and definitely do your part, do your research, and don't be afraid to reach out. There's so many things happening on social media. There's so many people. I mean, that's the first place I would start. Start to watch people, start to look and see what they do. If it's something that interests you, then don't be afraid to reach out to that person. I'm available. I am always available to talk to people, mentor people, just have the chit chats, that type of thing. So don't be afraid to reach out, because that could very well be your way into doing something that you love.
It could, absolutely. And construction, y'all get paid pretty good, right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
Look,
We don't get paid as much. Women still are, I think, at what 81% of what a man, makes or whatever. But it's I know we still have a long ways to go. But I think there's a lot of things from an educational perspective that we could do. I think there's a lot that we can do in our communities. I think it's very important to get connected, with the chambers throughout the areas of where you are, whether it's Dallas or whatever area, whatever state you're in. That's very important to do as well. There's a lot of networking opportunities there. And it's just, again, like about supporting each other, spreading the word. If you know that there's a woman out there who's doing a great job, whether it's construction or any other industry, shout her out, refer her, share some of her information on your pages, like some of the stuff that she's doing, send her over a direct message saying, great job, I admire you, you inspire me. Those are just the little things that you can do that could possibly change somebody's day or life, for the matter. But it just doesn't require a whole lot, but you just have to do something,
Yeah, those things go a long way, that little encouragement, that little push, that connection.
Yes.
You never know where those things go. And so you're absolutely right about that. So as we wrap up, tell the people if they, if they have we got a hailstorm or something coming, or a thunderstorm, or look, we threatening tornadoes around here every other day now.
It's been crazy in Dallas.
Oh my God. Like, I'm sure yesterday you were probably like, okay, let me see how much money is about to
The calls are coming in.
Tell people how they can reach out to you and get some work done.
Absolutely. So if you're on social media, my Facebook, along with my Instagram, you could like our page, you could share our page, Pink Hammers LLC on Facebook, Pink Hammers LLC on Instagram. Our website is www.pinkhammersllc.com or pinkhammersllc.com. You don't have to type in the www if you don't want to. Or you can call us at 817-721-2768. We do free roof inspections, 60 miles from the DFW area. So we cover a pretty good, area. We've been in Tyler. We've been everywhere, all over the Metroplex and East Texas and even North Texas. So give us a call. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much again for joining us. I thought that, I just had to have you on here. I knew that it was something to this, because when you started talking about construction, I'm like, how the heck did she get in construction of all things?
Yeah.
But I think it's phenomenal. I'm so glad to know that you feel like this is the thing. Sometimes it takes us a little while. It's like there's something in there. And you got to cultivate it, and you got to try stuff, and you got to get out there and throw your head in the ring for something, and then you're like, that was good, but that ain't it.
Yeah, just go do it. Go do it.
That's the key. Everybody to take away from this: just go do it.
Go do it.
All right. Well, until next week, y'all know we'll be back next Monday with a whole nother guest. And I'm looking forward to talking to her, as well as I'm always looking forward to talking to people. If you need any help with your marketing, make sure that you reach out to me. My website is brightgirl.media. That is brightgirl.media, not brightgirlmedia.com. Everybody likes to type that in. It's not that. It actually used to be that. And it's a story behind that, but we'll table that for another time. Or shout me out in the comments and let me know that you're watching. I would love to be able to interact with you all and, interface and see what it is that you're working on and how I might be able to help you. So until next time, y'all stay successful.